Howdy. I got a scratchy throat and a bit of a cough, so bear with me. Seems to be staying the same, honestly. I thought I would tell a little story, a couple stories actually. One has a lesson and the other one's just some funny little memory, spot in time with the characters in this little story. You gonna light for me? You know, before again, I read the other day. I don't think he wants to light. Well, I'll be. Hold on, let me get my backup candle. Okay, back on. All right. Now the lighter don't want to light. There we go. Yeah, I've had you can hear I've been sick. In fact, I couldn't even make a video. I couldn't talk for 2 days. Imagine that. That's why I posted a couple things on the flute. Just goofing around with the flute stuff. Really, I don't know how to play that thing, but it's fun. It's fun to play around with. Great instrument, in my opinion. But that's not what this video is about. Movie clip.
Father, will McGregors ever be kings again?
All men with honour are kings. But not all kings have honour.
What is honour?
Honour is what no man can give you, and none can take away. Honour is a man's gift to himself.
Do women have it?
Women are the heart of honour, and we cherish and protect it in them. You must never mistreat a woman or malign a man, nor stand by and see another do so.
How do you know if you have it?
Never worry on the getting of it. It grows in you and speaks to you. All you need to do is listen.
Not too often that I borrow from a movie because I'm not big on movies or anything out of Hollywood, just my own self. Been that way for a while. But sometimes, you know, there's a good line in a movie and, you know, somebody wrote that line. Everything on the movies, a human being wrote it. I'm pretty soon maybe it'll be AI, but some person wrote those lines, even on the cheesiest of Hollywood's productions. But this one happened to be written by Sir Walter Scott in his novel Rob Roy from 1817. And that movie actually seen is 30 years old already. I can't believe it. Where does time go? Classic. I really love that movie. Not many movies I can say. I could probably count on my hand 5 movies that I really liked a lot that I would revisit, and that's one of them. So here's what the Sir Walter Scott, here's what he wrote in 1817. Here's the line. And the movie got it pretty right. Honor is what no man can give you and none can take away. Honor is a gift. Let me back up. Honor is what no man can give you and none can take away. Honor is a man's gift to himself. And don't let anyone ever step on your tartan. So, Sir Walter Scott from Rob Roy, 1817. And he says honor, but I'd say integrity. They're really the same thing. Let's define the word integrity, because that's what this video is about, not specifically that movie scene. But I wanted to play it because I just wanted to. Hey Google, what is the definition of integrity?
Here's the definition of integrity. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness.
There you have it. So, with that said, I'll get into this experience. Well, a couple of things I want to talk about first. My my experience with God, that leads me to believe that he places a high value on integrity, which is honesty and honor. Integrity is really hey Google, what is the definition of integrity? Again.
Here's the definition of integrity: the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness.
The quality of being honest and having strong moral principle, moral uprightness. And, you know, it's like courage, moral courage, to do the right thing and to be honest. My experience with God, that would lead me to believe he places a high value on integrity. Stories you've heard, but one you haven't, actually, really. Of course, if you follow my channel, you've heard a dozen times how God spoke to me when I was 11, giving me a choice of two paths. But one of the things when he showed me my life to come, if I chose path one, was that I would be a famous person, a very famous person. And he actually showed me my wife and my kids and myself in the future. I was only 11 years old when he showed me this. Our home. And he
For
said,
that, you'll need to connect to a Wi-Fi network first.
oh, I don't know where that came from. Sorry. Technology, a blessing and a curse. And he said you'd have, you know, good health, and he'd start listing off. Good health, you'd have the love of your life. God values that. Love, family, romantic love, a man and a woman married, being in love with each other. God values that. But he said to me, your integrity would be faultless from coast to coast. Those were his words. Your integrity would be faultless from coast to coast. So apparently God places a high value on integrity. Where I get this from, you know, these things form me who I am. Who I am on this YouTube channel. Who I am to anybody in my family, anybody that's ever known me. People I served with in the Army. To a point, you know, I was kind of a different character in some ways, but the same person really. These things form me, and I feel obligated to talk about these things. You would too. And maybe that's why these things happen to me, because God knew I would tell people about it. The other time that led me to believe God values integrity, was, I'm not going to tell the whole story here. Some of it's pretty personal, really. I'll just say that I don't hear God speaking to me all the time. I just don't think it's supposed to happen that way while we're here. But I have heard him about 4 or 5 times, really. And this would be about the 4th time I heard him. And this was, God bless it, 10 years ago, when I was going through a hard time. And personal hard time, emotionally, at a crossroads, where God, I heard him talk, and he said something. He was going to give me something very good. But he said, first, I had to do something. First, I must do, and I'm not going to say what it was, because it involves people that may watch this video. I doubt it, but they might, and they're good people, and they're still my friends, and people I know, somewhat. And he said, but first you must do this, before I could have the good thing that he had for me. Very special. Something very special. And I didn't do what he told me to do in the months to come, and my life was in turmoil, to the point that I was in the woods a lot, just walking through the woods, talking to God, pleading to God for help and advice. And I heard him again, and he said, you haven't done, I'm not going to say what he said, but basically he said, you hadn't done what you were supposed to do. And I said, yes, I have, because I kind of did, but I didn't really. I said, yes, I have. And he said, no, you haven't. And then I realized you can't lie to God. And I said, I realized I hadn't done what he told me to do. And that's why my life was in turmoil. And I forgot my words, but just like bam. No, I haven't. And I thought, you can't lie to God. He knows not only your thoughts, he knows your heart, he knows your everything. And he loves you. I think I just said thank you. And that very day, I did what he had told me to do months before. And it was, I think that very day or the next day, everything came together just like he said it would. Everything. Perfectly. And there was another person involved. And I said to God, but what about this other person? Because I was concerned about them. And he said, don't worry. He said, I have plans for their life too. Isn't that great? And he did. Things worked out wonderfully. As soon as I did what he told me to do. So God values integrity. And here's where the integrity comes in on that. The thing that he told me I had to do first was something that really has to do with integrity. I just can't talk about it. It's kind of personal. But really, it occurred to me, God would not put you in a dishonorable situation. I might put myself there, but God won't. And what he told me to do, what I must do before this blessing would come to my life, I hadn't fully done. I kind of did, but I didn't. Kind of danced around with it. And it occurred to me that God has integrity. He honors it, and he wouldn't want me to do something dishonorable, or it wouldn't be from God. In fact, that was kind of the proof for me that I needed to know that this was actually God I was listening to. Because if it was the devil, he wouldn't want me to do something integrity, something dishonest, something that might harm other people in ways. Sorry. If I edit here, it's because of coughs. Oh, God. I'm going through a time with it. So God honors integrity. And he had everything. Not just my well-being, but everybody's well-being. He had it in his hands. Like he said, don't worry, I have plans for their life too. You know, I think he respected that I didn't want people to get hurt or harmed. Because it was kind of a hard thing I had to do without getting into it. Nothing illegal or dangerous or anything, just things and that situations people find themselves in. So integrity, right? I had the fortune in my life to have these lessons. That's why I share them. On to my story, the Candybar Integrity. Candybar Integrity. Now, there's a guy I have known since childhood. A friend of mine, I'll just say, I can't say a whole lot here. Somebody I've known very well. Now, I'll give you a little background on this person. It's said that this person's family was involved with the mafia. I have reason to believe that's true. Down in the city, down in the New York City area. I don't think they were making that up. But this man's father died when he was young, and I will say he did not have any strong role models in his life after that. And I'll just say that on his defense. He didn't have these lessons that I'm sharing with you. So I submit these things humbly. So that said, the guy's about my age. And this happened when we were about 40. And we were in a car together one day, and we went to Walmart to get some things for somebody else, picking somebody else some things. I remember that much. And we bought the things, and we were kind of hanging around, chumming around, talking. We were good friends. We knew each other very well. And I'm sitting in the car. I'm driving the car, and we're not going anywhere yet. We're just got in the car after we'd done our shopping. Excuse me. And he's sitting there, and he pulls out of his jacket a candy bar. He says, "Look what I got." And he was with me in the checkout line the whole time when I bought the stuff. And he unwraps it and takes a bite. I said, I forgot the conversation. but he told me that he'd stole it. He shoplifted it. I'm like, what'd you do that for? I was kind of put off, you know. He's with me. What if he got caught? We're together. And he says, I said, how much is that thing, $1? I think it was $1 at that time for this candy bar. He wasn't broke. I said, you know, if you're that broke, just ask me. I would have given you $1. I would have bought it for you. He said, well, I just did it to see if I could do it. That's what he said. And I said, is that what your integrity is worth? A candy bar. A $1 candy bar is the value of your personal integrity. That's what I said to him. And he didn't say anything. He just ate the candy bar. I don't think it fazed him one bit. It didn't upset him. It didn't enlighten him either. That's that. That's the story. That's what I said to him, and he didn't really have anything to say about it. Didn't bother him one bit. He got away with it. He was a thief. He'd been a thief for quite a while. All kinds of things, not just shoplifting. All kinds of things. So I'll just say that. But he was still my friend. You know, at any rate, I wasn't a thief. Honestly, I wasn't. I made notes here because I've been sick. And I'm making mistakes, and I don't want to make mistakes if I can help it. So, what's my integrity worth? I think I said something to it. It's worth a lot more than a candy bar. You know, I'm not spotless. This was me back then. I'm telling you the truth. I said it'd have to be like $1 million or something. Well, that's a question we all have to ask ourselves. What is our integrity worth? Because each of us will be tested throughout our lives, all the way. Our integrity will be tested. And integrity or honor is a gift a man gives himself. And I'm quoting Rob Roy again to say now the Bible. And Sir Walter Scott was an atheist. But, you know, so this isn't anything, this is personal. But God respects integrity. Integrity is a gift a man gives himself. And nobody can take it away unless he gives it away. And that guy gave it away for a candy bar. So each of us must ask, what is our integrity worth? Ask ourselves that, because life will test us over and over. Myself included. And have I failed it? I'm sure I have. I can't think of it. I strive to be honest. So that's that. I'm going to tell you a little funny story with this guy and his brother and me. Oh, God, this cough is not good. And it gets worse. It keeps me up all night. That's not the story. Well, it's just a funny story. It kind of goes with just some memory with this guy. We hung around a lot, and we used to go through abandoned houses. I mean, really abandoned, like houses nobody had lived in for decades. Out in the woods, derelict houses, no doors, no windows usually. Nobody around, nothing. Just look for antiques. We used to do that. I think everybody did around here. Every guy, most guys, a lot of guys did. And was that right in the long run? No, somebody owned that property. But they didn't care about it at all. And like my friend here told me, we're doing society of justice because some of these things would be lost for all time. And some of the things we found were pretty noteworthy. Like I actually got letters out of one house from a man who wrote letters to his whole family from about 1920 to maybe 1947, to include all his letters home from World War II. And I actually found this man's son, and I gave them to him on the premise that he wouldn't be upset where I got them. And they said they wouldn't, and it was pretty tricky, but I gave him this big box of all these letters from this man's father, and this man was in a nursing home. Actually, I gave them to his grandson, and he gave them to this man, to his, how am I going to say it? His grandson gave them to this man's son, who the letters were from World War II, who was in a nursing home. And the whole family, I was told, sat together and read them with him, and it was really a great thing, and they were thankful that I got them. So, well, we went to this one house, abandoned house out in the woods. And his brother and him and me. And we went upstairs, and this place, there was nothing in there. It was just full of like old furniture, worthless old furniture, nothing, just junky. Whoever left there looked like they moved out of there 20, 30 years before that. And this was probably 20 years ago when I did this. And they just left all their stuff in there, and it had been ransacked over and over by who knows who. It was just old magazines and clothing and cardboard boxes and worthless cookware thrown all over the place. Clutter. You had to climb over it. Some of it. Pause. All right. I want to get through this story, honestly, so excuse the coughing. Well, I was in one room upstairs, and him and his brother were in the other room. And they both had like this New York City accent, and I could hear them talk, and I knew both these guys really well. And I'm in one room, and I'm thinking, there's nothing in here. This place, there's nothing. Just garbage. That's it. And all of a sudden, I hear these two guys like, oof, oh, thump, 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 bang, bang. Like, sound like they were in a fight. And they were swearing and cussing. And I'm like standing in this room, and I look in the hallway, and they're in a room next to me. And I see them fighting each other to get down the stairs. And they're like elbowing each other. Oof, oh, oof, oof, clunk, clunk. Like fighting, like, get out of that house. And I'm like, what's going on? And there was a swarm of bees that they stumbled into. And they came out. And next thing you know, they're all around me, but I didn't move. And they didn't bother me. So I got out of there, and they got stung up. Both of them got stung up real bad. And they were in the car. They ran out to the car, and I thought it was pretty funny. They were, oh, bang, bang, bang. They were like trying to throw each. They were both like fighting to get out of there down those narrow stairs that had like a winding stairs going down and out the door to the car. And this cloud of bees followed them out there. So I don't know, that has nothing to do with anything, but I thought it was pretty funny. Candybar Integrity. I think that was the last time we ever did that, honestly. And I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. But this was about 20 years ago, and so, all right, that's all. God bless you, H. God bless you. Good night. Good day. Good morning.